Okay. 1.5. All right, you ready for this? What are the abilities that allow you to do the things as you do? Remember, we've got this platform here. We got our work, leisure, self-care, right? What are the things that actually hold up this? So now, the next thing for your awesome drawing here is to come down and make 4 legs for this platform. Okay? 4 pillars. And these are the pillars. These are the ability pillars, right? The ability pillars include physical abilities, okay? Physical. All right? Now, physical abilities are very simple. They're the things that are allowing us strength, abilities that allow us to do the physical things that we have to do. Obviously, picking things up, moving around, mobility, reaching, carrying, grasping, lifting. Anything that we're actually doing, those are all physical abilities. Physical abilities allow us to work. They allow us to do leisure and self-care tasks. Simple, right? What about mental abilities? Now, mental abilities could be those abilities that allow us to read, to do math, the abilities to problem solve, to sequence a task, to understand what's going on around us. Mental abilities help us to do these things. The next, social abilities. Now, social abilities, again, could, some of these components are mental, right? But social is really our interactions with other people. How do we interact with people? Now, we could be able to read and write and do all those things, but sometimes we might be lacking in our ability to interact with people. How much eye contact is appropriate? Should I look away? Can I read this person, how they're interacting with me? Social skills are best enhanced by doing things. Interacting with people in a work environment can help you enhance those social skills. And the last one here is motivational. Now, motivational abilities, sometimes if we think about these abilities as, well, physical is getting up and going for that run, right? But would you get up and go for that run if you weren't motivated? Of course not. Would you do better on that run if you took a friend? Probably. Would you enhance that journey if you were engaged in it mentally? Now, there are some pills and physical treatments to enhance the physical, obviously. The mental abilities, we believe, when we start to address these in the medical model, we start to think of these as physical abilities. But they aren't. You could be born and never taught those things. Those mental abilities never come. So it's not like you could take a pill and learn how to read. You have to start doing things. You have to start learning things. Now, where does that happen? Now, when we're in school and we're doing the work of school and learning, the play of reading and enjoying literature, the self-care task of reading and exploring, enhancing my ability to understand things. Now, depending on where you come at those and how you define those and the meanings, they might enhance those mental abilities. Now, that might happen anyway. Physical, mental, social, and motivational. Now, what happens when we start to take one of these away? Now, the typical one I take away is the motivational pillar, right? If I start to break that motivational pillar down, what's going to happen? Now, we can still probably function in some way, but we're certainly not going to go for a 10K run, right? We're not going to necessarily be thinking clearly and really focused on our tasks as a mental ability. We're not going to necessarily be creative. We're not going to necessarily be interacting well with others. Our social abilities might start to falter too. Basically what this does, it doesn't instantly attack these, right? Your loss of motivation doesn't instantly make you a flabby, non-beach body guy with a great big beer belly, right? It takes a bit to get from the day you lose your motivation, to the breakdown of these other things. And how does it actually happen? It happens because we start to be imbalanced in our functions. Motivational deficits is the way that I describe depression. If you are anxious, depressed, unmotivated, often you're going to be interacting differently in your work, your self-care, and your leisure. So, if you were unmotivated, why take a shower? Why get up? Maybe I could just stay in bed all day. That is something that actually occurs to people who have depression, and may have occurred to you. Other things that might occur to people as their motivational deficits happen. Why am I doing this? Is this worth it at all? Should I go to work? I should just, why should I do this, right? So those deficits might be there. Why should I have fun? Is there any reason I'm in pain? Why should I do that? Any of these, of course, could start to impact that. If I have physical disabilities, physical problems that are limiting my ability here, right? Anything could start to unbalance this table, this platform, and start to take the functions out of balance. So, how instead would I work on building up that motivational pillar? So, there is no pill for it, right? You cannot get a pill for your motivation. We'll just put an M here. The best way to enhance that is to balance your functions, okay? So that's the mind-blowing thing about this model and why it's drawn as a kind of a 3D table platform thing here. Because when we think of this way, when we think of this as this platform on these four legs, we start to understand that if we start to take out a leg, we start to have one of those wobbly tables. Yes, it will still stand up, but I better not put anything over here. I'm going to tilt it all down. So without it, I'm imbalanced. But let's go through the example we go through in the book. Now, this has been applied multiple times, and many, probably thousands of times by now. But what we're talking about is simply taking and restoring balance. Okay, restoring balance to, again, our work, our leisure, and our self-care. And sometimes this is done rather than rely on these pillars, right? We've got our pillars here. Rather than rely on a broken pillar, right? Let's put our break in there. Or a weak pillar, or even a pillar that's divided out to the side and falling over and crumbling. Rather than rely on that, we might continue this analogy with an external support. What if I took and brought a secondary column, right? Somebody else's column that came in there as an external support, right? This helps us, this external support, helps us to rebalance this. Now that could be just someone, a social support, a friend who says, heck, I need you to get up. I need you to come and go for a walk with me, right? Your brother, sister could do this for you, or a friend, a neighbor, someone that you all want to get together and do this for people. Maybe you go to something that's organized. Maybe you just go to the mall in the morning. There are people using the air conditioning there to move up and down that mall. Meet those people. Enjoy their company. Use that as the opportunity to help balance your self-care, work, and leisure. You can be in there doing a little bit of retail therapy, they say. You know, sometimes people buy something to help them feel better. But it doesn't matter what it is. What you're going to do, if you can get that external support, someone who can help you get up and take on that world. Now, it seems to me that there's been There are a lot of approaches to this. Now, you can take a medication, but typically when we look at those medication ads, we see that person in the end, they're out there walking their dog. Yes, that is fine. Walking your dog is a great thing to do, but you don't need to have a dog, right? You can just get out there and walk anyway, right? Obviously, the task is getting out and being in the world. We know this. We know all these things. We know naturally. We just put a name on them. We just said that if you can balance work, leisure, and self-care, it's just going to be that much more efficient and satisfying. If you cannot get yourself out of a physical problem, right? Say you're extremely overweight or even slightly overweight and you needed to get that to happen there. Could we have an external support over here? Yes, we could have another external support, or even a commitment to a group that takes another external support. Use the people in the environment and then start to be those people for other people. Actually, you helping others starts to become a support to them and to you. It starts to help you balance by being more aware of this. That's why you're this gift to the world. Because you are one of those people that has gone out there and started to try to understand this better. Your own awareness of this will start to enhance your personal abilities as well as the abilities of those people around you. So let's explore this one last time. We're talking about each of these pillars: physical, mental, social, and motivational. And it is useful to think of these all separately, because if I have a physical, if I think of everything here, all these social and motivational skills as simply mental skills, I lose something significantly when I take and I've got my thing now. I'm putting this on the side here. I lose it significantly when I try to rebalance my platform. Now I'm off all the way to the side, but imagine we flip that. Physical, mental, social, and motivational pillars of abilities. These are all the abilities that you do. They could be defined in there. Now at certain times you might ascribe these to different areas, but they are all abilities. And the best way to get those and enhance those abilities is through function. The more you do, the more you can do, right? So if the more you do, the more you can do, it's going to enhance all of those abilities, right? The more you do, write this down, put it on your fridge. This is the key. The more you do, the more you can do. And this has proven true many times. In my youth as an athlete, if I went back and said, how did you do, you did the commute to the swimming, you did the weights, you did the training, then you went off and you actually biked there often. All those things were happening, and somehow I was doing so much. The more you can do, okay? Oh, put that on your fridge. Use that as your little trigger to help you get motivated, to get yourself doing a little bit more and help becoming more of that gift to the world. We're going to talk next about your context. Okay, so let's go on and we'll see you on the other side.